Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Dan. I am joined by Scott. We are from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. And if you are here joining us, you are here for the Elimination Chamber 2023 predictions, the last stop on the road to WrestleMania. Check out what we've got to say right after this. Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
Hey.
Yo, so yeah, for those of you that did miss the lovely intro, I am Dan. I'm joined by Scott. We are soon to be hopefully joined by Rob and Lucas, and we are here to talk all things Elimination Chamber 2023. So
excited, mate! Getting the band back together for this one. It's what better way, mate? Before the big event, of course. Like you said, last stop on the road to WrestleMania. Well, before the go homes and all that. But I'm very excited, mate.
The last major show, and I mean, obviously, it's the first time I'm coming on kind of since the Royal Rumble as well. So, obviously, the guys heard. I think was it just you and Rob? I think was on that one.
On the review, yeah.
They heard obviously yours and Rob's review of that. Yeah. Like for me, I'll talk very, very briefly about the Rumble as well. Because obviously I did quite well. I think with the
Hey, listen, we don't have to talk about that.
The old prediction Roonies, correctly predicting obviously the winners of both Rumble matches. As you can see there, the lovely graphic. Obviously, me and Scott both are opposite ends of the table.
Yeah,
You know what? It's like I'm like pacing myself. First season in, second season syndrome, and then you got to build that team. Build that their mental cogs, get them going.
Am I in a relegation battle? Is that what's going on? Well, I've been kicked off the channel.
Yeah, you're ending up going down to like RN like screen one or something. I don't know.
Hey, I'm already there. Don't get me wrong, but
we've got a comment here as well. We've got Daniel.
Daniel, thank you very much for joining us, mate.
Guys.
Good to see you back.
An Elimination Chamber on his birthday, the 18th of February.
Hey.
Well, happy birthday for the 18th of February.
Exactly
Daniel.
that, man. Daniel, you know what we do here on this channel. We'll have a build-up show on the day of the event as well. So if you pop in on that night, I'm sure we'll give you a few kind of birthday greetings there as well. But thank you very much for joining us live. And as always, anyone does join us live or on demand on these streams as well. But Dan, so yeah, general thoughts, man. Rumble, was you happy with it? I know you're happy with the points, but was you happy with the winners before we bring in Lucas and Rob in a few moments, hopefully?
I mean, overall, I thought the men's Rumble, I think obviously having Cody win it, I didn't really think it was the right decision to have him come in at number 30. But I think in hindsight, I think unless you're going to have a big return, obviously Cody was a big return, but if you're going to have like a big surprise, then I guess that degree it made sense. But I'm not really a fan of like the big baby face coming in at number 30 and winning the Rumble. But
it cheapened it somewhat, didn't it? It felt like, especially when you had a heel who had gone all the way in Gunther. But an incredible show, and of course I've touched on this already with a review. But yeah, I'm with you, mate, on that. But as far as the winners go, you happy with the winners?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the right decision to have both of them win. I mean, the men's one, I think you could probably have opened it up. Maybe I think there was probably Cody, probably Seth, Drew potentially for me were the three that I could have seen winning it. But then I think it was more a case of is Sami gonna join in? And then if Sami was gonna join in, then it would have I think been that would have been a bit more interesting. And the fact, obviously, that Rey Mysterio got taken out the match at number 17. So,
that was
didn't even enter the match.
Hey, I've spent too long getting annoyed about that already. I'm going to try not to fall into that trap again. Quickly going to bring up some comments here, Dan, as well. So we've got Daniel Wiley again saying, I wanted to show up at Rumble. Of course, we mentioned this in our Rumble review. It was a shame, but of course, it doesn't seem like they're going in that direction. Wilbert's joined us as well. Hi, good night. And a load of interesting little words that I assume they're supposed to be emojis that haven't loaded. But Wilbert, we appreciate them nonetheless and appreciate you for joining us. And Daniel also says, Jay Uso thing's been crazy the last few weeks. That's a good point. I'm sure we're going to get into that when we get into the main event, of course, Dan. But I sent out a tweet. I don't know if you saw it, but at Scott_Rebellious Noise, for those that haven't, where it's basically saying that WWE had played this whole scenario between Cody and Sami perfectly up until this point. I think it was so risky, of course, with fans turning on Cody, and it's hard to tell both those stories. And I don't want to get into my prediction just yet, but I think I know where they're going to go with it, and I know where I hope they're going to go with it at least. But yeah, either way, it feels like they've played it quite well. That promo between the two on Raw was fascinating. It was so well put together by the two of them, but it did have its risks, and I think they got away with it, especially with a hot crowd like a New York crowd.
Yeah, and obviously you and I know exactly what that Barclays Center crowd is like as well. Obviously ours was kind of slightly different though, because obviously WrestleMania has like a load of
international flavor,
fans,
hence us being there. We're not native New Yorkers, in case you couldn't tell.
Could you not tell by the New York accent?
Wow.
Terrible.
Well, we've just lost a whole demographic of fans.
That insinuates we had them to start with.
Hey, come on. New York love us, right?
Yeah, we love New York. So, obviously I haven't got my I Heart NY t-shirt on.
Not quite anyway. At the moment.
But no, so overall, like Rumble-wise, I think Cody was definitely for me the right person to win the men's Rumble. Women's one, it was kind of tricky, I think, because you didn't really know what direction they were going to go in.
I still don't, mate.
Well, because the thing is, I think because both the men's titles are combined, it's easier to kind of look at the long-term picture of kind of whoever wins it is going to go on to face one person at WrestleMania. Whereas, the whole intrigue of having two separate champions going into WrestleMania, then you have the Royal Rumble winner. And it's like, who are they going to pick? I mean,
that's part of the excitement, isn't it? But
yeah, I think they shot their load a bit early with it as well.
In what sense?
Like having Rhea pick straight away. Like I would have kind of, I would have eked it out a little bit more. Because obviously you've got to get through Elimination Chamber. They could have had Elimination Chamber matches for both women's titles. Maybe even have Bianca in the women's the chamber match and have a 6-woman match there, and get closer to the time, because at the moment it's okay, they're advertising Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. So basically it kind of, to a degree, I guess they use the caveat of card subject to change, but they kind of are letting okay, these are the planned matches for WrestleMania.
Marquees,
rather than having say the Rhea Ripley win the win the Rumble, and then she shows up on Raw, gets in Bianca's face, shows up on SmackDown, gets in Charlotte's face, and maybe show up in NXT, getting Roxanne Perez's face.
Yeah, it happened to her, of course, with Charlotte, but
and obviously they've got that deep rooted history, her and Charlotte, and obviously Rhea was meant to be the big deal around WrestleMania 36 when they did all that filming in the Raymond James Stadium, and obviously we didn't know kind of what they were going to do in the end there. Would it have been different if that was maybe in front of a crowd? We don't know when it was back then, when it was Vince, what his booking decision would have been kind of thing. But
it was a fantastic showing by both of them, and a great match either way. But you do wonder, like you say, decision wise, would it have gone a different way? But really interested to see them both go at it again. I think for me, it's still muddied the waters on the opposite side, though. I still don't quite know. And again, we'll get into this, of course, with the women's chamber. But of course, it seemed like they were going towards And it was rumored that Trish was coming back. Lita obviously came back last week. It looked like it was going to be Trish, Lita, and Becky versus Damage Control. Now, of course, with Dakota getting injured, looks like that's been delayed. And hopefully we will see that at WrestleMania. But obviously on Raw, I didn't understand it. I was watching, maybe I'm just not with it at the moment, but I was watching the clip where Bayley and Becky tried to get in the chamber, and Adam Pearce was like, well, you face Bianca. And then, of course, Bianca wins, so it meant neither of them got in. But I was going, wait, but there's already 6 in it. I still don't understand what you're going to do. What would they have done? Thrown 2 people in one pod? It was really confusing, unless I was misunderstanding that. But at that point, there were 6 people in the chamber, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because
so I mean, if either one of them won, what would they have done?
Well, probably because I know in 2018, I only know this fact because I heard it on a different podcast this morning on my way to work. 2018 men's elimination chamber had 7 participants in. So started
did it? What?
Apparently so. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Let me see. 2018 men's elimination chamber.
What, did 3 people start in the ring?
Yeah, so it's like, I think it started out as like a triple threat in the ring.
I guess it could. I mean, to be fair, you could have 8 people. You know what I mean? So maybe.
So it was. So you had Elias, Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and The Miz.
God, I don't remember that. Who won? What was it for?
That was the one where Braun Strowman eliminated every single person and then got eliminated by Roman Reigns right at the end.
I mean, it doesn't sound great.
It was to get a Universal Championship match at WrestleMania 34, I think, against Brock Lesnar.
Okay. Right. Well, anyway, I don't remember it. Maybe they would have done that here, but it was a bit confusing to me. And I think it was just to tide them over another week. And obviously, it seems like they're probably not going to be on the card now. So that's a bit of a confusing one there. But hey, let's...
Talking of triple threats, let's make this a triple threat.
Hey, what a segue. That's better than what I was going to do.
There we go. Let's add the third participant in to this chat.
Here he is. Welcome back, Lucas. How you doing?
Late. Shut up.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
All good. Good.
So yeah, we've predicted the first 3 matches, so you've got a lot to catch up on so far.
Now we'll get underway again. Hopefully Rob will join us as well, but unfortunately he's tied up at the moment, and hopefully he'll be able to join us for at least the latter part of it. But what we'll do now, of course, we'll get into our main predictions even. So Dan, where do you want to lead us into first? What match are we going into?
So let's
got my cup of tea ready.
Off.
So let's go.
Let's go with Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
Oh, the big boys.
So big, meaty men.
Okay.
Slapping me. Let's.
Are we doing the old shaking of the dice?
We are indeed. So it is. There we go. Brock and Bobbles. This match obviously officially signed on Raw. Quite a unique contract signing, actually.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Like normally it's someone going through a table, but let's have a look and see who goes first. Remember, me 1, Scott 2. Is it Rob 3, Lucas 4, I believe?
I can't remember. I've forgotten again.
Yeah,
Lucas, what do you reckon you are?
Lucas 3 and Rob 4.
Okay, cool. There we go.
And it is number 4.
All right,
Rob.
Brilliant.
Oh, typical. Yeah, it's not here. Yeah. All right, I'll go first.
If you have
this one then, Rob.
Come on, then.
So this is obviously like the rubber match between the 2 of them. I guess it's going to have implications as I think to what happens at WrestleMania. Like especially with Brock. I think it's a tricky one because obviously they've been teasing the Hurt Business getting back together. So could the Hurt Business maybe come in and help Lashley overcome Lesnar again in this potentially? Probably not. So I'm gonna go with Brock Lesnar for this one.
Yeah, you bring up some good points there because they have been teasing Hurt Business, and if it's going to happen, it's got to happen soon, ain't it? So I'm kind of leaning towards that, but at the same time, to end the match on shenanigans wouldn't really be the end of a feud. So, is there a rumored Brock match at Mania at the moment?
There was talk initially of Gunther.
Oh
for
yeah,
the
after the
IC
Rumble,
title.
yeah.
But then apparently now talk is that it's going to be Drew, Sheamus, and Gunther for the IC title.
That'd be
imagine
great.
imagine throwing Brock into that like fatal 4-way.
Yeah, mate.
With those four.
I like it. It. Sounds good with the three of them, but the fourth member there, wow. Look, I hope that is where to go with it then. So, but because otherwise you could just do this match again because it is a WrestleMania worthy match. We've mentioned it on this channel many times over the years, and they've it's good to see them actually get a proper feud out of it, not a last minute thrown together one. And I've enjoyed what I've seen so far. So I wouldn't mind it continuing to one big blow off, but how many times can they do this and it feel like, I guess it would have to be shenanigans. So because I don't know where we're going with either wrestler, I think I'm going to have to go with a shenanigan kind of finish. I won't bonus point it, and I do think Hurt Business have got to get kind of their themselves in gear at some point if they're coming back as a unit. So I could see this being a place to do it. So a lot of things kind of point towards a Bobby Lashley win for me in that sense. So it's frustrating going against you, Dan, because you seem to be doing well in the table. Maybe I should stick with you, but hey, if I want to climb up that table and separate ourselves on points, I've got to go against you at times as well. So let's go with Bobby Lashley.
And on the subject of Bobby Lashley, we do have a interview with Bobby Lashley, which you can check out now over at Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. That obviously we get to talk about him, and obviously why a Brock Lesnar match hadn't happened at the time. So
very interesting points, even though it has now.
Yeah, and we spoke about 4 big beefy men.
Ah, crap! I saw he was in the thing, and I was gonna do that segue. I was like, I'm gonna one better your triple threat one, Dan, and you still got in there. But Rob, welcome back. How you doing?
We make the triple threat into a fatal 4-way. We're gonna do a tag team match, player.
Mate, cheeky of you, mate. I don't know if you saw, but you were meant to go first on this round, and now you're conveniently going last in it.
Well, he knows obviously the dice is loaded. It's like a running joke.
All right, so I guess we should.
I didn't even hear what match is it?
Lucas. It's Lashley Lesnar. Don't worry, you got a bit of thinking time anyway. We're going to go into Lucas then.
So, yeah, it's weird how this feud's been kind of spaced out, isn't it? Like so far, like they've had obviously the Rumble match, then they had a match at was it Crown Jewel? Yeah, it was Crown Jewel, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
So what? It was 8 months between the first one.
I think so.
With that first one, wasn't that first one by accident as well? Because obviously they did the whole Brock winning the WWE title at day one because Roman wasn't available, and then obviously they had to do the Brock Lashley match like at the Rumble. Then 8 months later they did it again. It feels like that Lashley's got a lot on his side. But then just also feel like we've been so close to Mania. Like if this is not going to Mania, like why have Lashley win? Because Brock surely he's going to want to look strong going into Mania. But so it's Lashley. It's so hard. I will go with Brock Lesnar winning because I think that makes the easiest sense for them to do. And then I don't know where that leaves Lashley for Mania though. But I think
I think Brock's the one you're more likely want to keep strong for Mania, but yeah, it does bring up questions. What are you going to say, Dan? Sorry,
I said maybe like an IC title thing. They could do like a multi-man with that potentially, or if Triple H actually wants to do something proper with the Andre Battle Royal.
You know what? We talked a lot on after the Rumble one, me and Rob, about potential. We were talking about being a chamber match, but of these big men because it's adding Brock into that 4-way then still leaves out Lashley. So I wouldn't mind Lashley going and it suddenly being a 6-person match, or that's 5, of course I can count, but finding another basically to make it even at Mania. But then it maybe doesn't really fit it when you've just moved away from a gimmick show. But imagine 6 of them in an Armageddon Hell in a Cell or something like that. Woo.
This is where obviously this Mania will be difficult because obviously only having the one belt, the one main belt for the men, means obviously everyone else, or your other main eventers, are going to have to basically be fighting either for lower card titles obviously in grudge matches, and there's only so many of those you're going to be on a card because you're going to have obviously all these main titles defended over the 2 nights, and on the WrestleMania SmackDown.
Oh gosh.
So it'll be interesting because if obviously they do go ahead with Cody and Roman as the main, it still leaves people Rollins, Lesnar, Lashley, all without major kind of championships to go for.
Good point. Are we done there? Then we're moving on to Rob. We got yours locked in, Lucas. Yeah.
Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, obviously I didn't hear what Janet and Scott said.
All right. Whatever.
But going off what you said, Lucas, I think the complete opposite. I think this is going to Mania. These two are having their WrestleMania moment together. Another WrestleMania moment. But I think they're doing it together. So I believe
he does deserve it.
This match is. I think they're ending. It's ending in like a no finish. There isn't an end to. Like I don't want to say DQ, but I just think that there's going to be a match stoppage between these two, and then it will finish.
I'll be honest, Rob. We did say that we thought there might be a Hurt Business influence. Right. So I went with Bobby because of that wins. Dan went even with that, still went with Brock. But I think what you've come up with there is probably a good get out of jail card thing, and we haven't mentioned that at all. So.
And obviously, Rob not wanting to go with DQ. Someone who has in the comments is John has said DQ.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah,
there you go. So I think John is kind of aligned with us. And hello, John. Thanks for joining us along with everybody else.
I just think
if you go for no contest or DQ, doesn't matter what you label it up as, Rob. It is a bonus point either way. Any kind of draw is a bonus point, basically. So you'd have to
finish.
You'd be committing to it. You don't have to say what the details of it, but just saying that,
I mean,
the referee will ring the bell other than a pinfall or a submission
or knockout.
I mean, I love the idea of the Hurt Business being involved, but I think that's part 2 of this feud going forward. Lashley can't get it done on his own. The ref stops it, and then the Hurt Business coming on because he said, "We're good, but I don't need you right now." So this is that moment where the Hurt Business realign and go forward that way. So I think Hurt Business comes into it after the Chamber show. Just from like logic building, if they just turn up now, it wouldn't make sense of, well, he didn't need them before. He's done all this stuff on his own to get this position and this match. Now all of a sudden the Hurt Business is there. It kind of takes away what Lashley's already got himself into the position of. So I can see it, but I just think it makes more sense after as opposed to during that match. So yeah, I'm going. I'm definitely going a bonus point it, and I'll say it's like DQ. Do you want me to give this be specific?
You don't have to. It wouldn't make a difference if you just want to mention it, but it wouldn't make a difference to your thing. I say, yeah.
So wait, hang on. No, if it's a DQ though, if you could say if it's Brock Lesnar. So if obviously you've said Bobby Lashley, Scott. I've said Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, true.
That could mean.
Good point.
That could mean that Bobby Lashley is declared the winner.
Yeah. So sorry, you're right. That's either a DQ for a person or a draw. So you do need to kind of differentiate on that at least. So. Is
okay,
it
I'll
win for someone, or is it a straight up draw?
Bonus point it as it's a draw, as in the sense of it.
Okay, no one wins. Basically.
Yeah, no contest. I think that's
okay.
That's fine.
I'll list it as no contest stroke draw. So essentially, if there is like the winner of this match as a result is person A.
Sharing points there, one apiece.
Yeah. So what I'm going to quickly do.
Shafted by these
I'm going to quickly.
We have.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly have a look for the other dice because we've obviously doing the Elimination Chamber is normally 6 participants. So yeah, you guys quickly fill for time.
Gotcha.
All right. Quickly have a look.
We'll see you in a second then. Right. So let's have a little quick overall then. What do you guys think's been going on lately on this road to not quite WrestleMania just yet, but the road to Elimination Chamber? Have you been happy with what we've seen on Raw? I tweeted out the other day that I was really pleased with how WWE had handled this very awkward situation between Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn, for example. We won't go too far into it, of course, because we will predict those matches individually later on.
Yeah.
But general vibes of up and down the card, really, you've been happy that the women's things going in the direction it is, the damage control stuff, the Lita stuff. We're talking about Bianca Belair, we're talking about Chambers and number one contenders in the US title. Overall, guys, what you've been thinking? We'll go with Lucas first because we haven't heard from him for a little while. So, Lucas, how are you feeling about the goings on at the moment?
Yeah, it's quite interesting, actually. I think, obviously, once we get this out of the way, there's quite a nice little stretch, until WrestleMania. I don't think they've announced a pay-per-view in between, have they? I think it is just
no fast lane.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you want, though. You know what I mean? Like, you want time to build up the matches for Mania. Obviously, I think the big kind of question everyone has, and they keep having, and it seems like we kind of have an answer already, but it just doesn't seem like they're going to be doing the split of the belts anytime soon. It just doesn't seem to be the case. Like, they've had so many chances to do it. Obviously, with the Rumble, with Cody winning the Rumble, they could have quite easily had them say, "Look, I want to win the WWE Championship," and have that be it. Sami Zayn's match, obviously, against Roman is for both belts. So we can't do the whole Sami maybe wins and then wins one, and then obviously that's another feud. But it just feels a bit odd that obviously last year, I guess, like, as the gimmick of it being part of a title, like, it kind of made sense. But then it kind of going into this year with only one World Championship match as closing of night 2. It was very interesting, obviously, particularly with fans who have bought tickets, because they're probably thinking, okay, we're not going to get Roman one night now. We're not going to get a men's World Championship one night. And I guess, they could say, okay, last year, obviously, they got, Stone Cold, obviously, on night 1. So, Return of Stone Cold on night 1. Like, this year, I'm not too sure what can really fill that equal kind of space, I guess, I don't know. I guess maybe again this could be where the Brock match goes on night 1 and you get Roman on night 2. But obviously it's a very interesting thing because they have to obviously level those nights out. But it does feel, it really does feel that night 2 is like the main event, if that makes sense. And history books will kind of report it. Like, I think that yes, it's like your main event night 1, but then if you main event night 2, that's like you are the last,
the real main event. Yeah,
and particularly with obviously last year's being the Royal Rumble winner, who also was obviously the champion at the time, Brock Lesnar, went into that spot of the last match, and even the year before as well, Edge obviously won the Royal Rumble, and then did challenge for the title at the time, at WrestleMania against Daniel Bryan and Roman again. So yeah,
he's been around it a bit. Yeah. Let's go straight back into it then. Rob, I'm going to cut you off unless you've got anything particularly you want to say. I know we chatted quite a bit on the Rumble stuff, but generally, though, have you enjoyed the build towards Chamber?
I mean, the build to Chamber, depending on the matches themselves, I think a few of them have been great. The Bobby and Brock, just getting that comedicness, the comedy side and the country boy side of Brock Lesnar, and all I could think about was Bobby Lashley and that promo. And after about 5 to 6 hours, I then thought of Bobby Lashley. But like that promo that he done last week, so not the Raw, just gone the Ron prior.
Bobby
fantastic. Exactly. Great. Fantastic. I think the thing that's really stood out for me though was Cody's promo with Paul Heyman, and then the promo that Cody and Sami Zayn done on Raw. Right, like as you said, we were talking about how good the production is and the way they're starting to do their segments and build these matches and stuff. And we were something that we've been crying out for ages. And both people, or Cody involved in both of them, but the stories that they're telling are just is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, if there was ever a time for someone to go, this is a point where when we get Dusty's Hard Times promo, someone says, how do we embody that? How do we do these promos? And then you look at these guys and you think, if the stars of the future are going to be watching these promos back, learning from that, and that they are that good. And I was just like, this is fantastic. So the build for that has been good. The women's, I'm not too sure about though. The thing with Lita and Becky, great, but where's it go? Like, something's going on there clearly. But
yeah, so
it
we were
just seemed
talking
a
earlier
little
that
weird.
it was supposed to be Trish apparently, and then with Dakota getting injured, it's been sidelined. But hopefully that comes back up at Mania. But it has really muddied the waters as far as the build towards both Mania and the Chamber, I feel, in the women's division. But let's throw it back to Dan then. I think we're good to move on from here. We all good, Dan?
We are indeed, yeah. So let's go in and talk about the first of the 2 Elimination Chamber matches. This one is for the first time ever inside Elimination Chamber, the United States Championship on the line.
Love it.
Where Austin Theory defends against Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Seth Freakin Rollins, and Damian Priest. So yeah, quite like an interesting field there actually for the United States Championship. Let's get the dice rolling. What we do with this one is we're going to obviously pick the whoever we think is going to win, and then I've got another just a standard 6-sided dice as well. That will be a bonus for somebody like we do at Royal Rumble when we do like a random number pick sometimes. We normally just do a random dice roll, and whatever that number is your number for both Elimination Chamber matches. And to clarify, as we did have a bit of a, what was it? A little bit of controversy before number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is the first person that is in the chamber, in the ring, not in a pod. And then...
Yeah. So, but they come out 5th and 6th as well, don't they? So I'm guessing
not always though. Sometimes they do just stay in the ring. Yeah. So it's basically whoever's the first person that will be starting the match in the ring.
So it's either 1 or 5, basically, isn't it? Like whoever's music hits 1st or 5th, depending on the order they go with. But we
pretty much. We know what we mean.
Okay.
Right. So let's see. Luckily, we've only got 4 options.
So I thought you would have just done it. So the order that they come out is just the number that we get to avoid that confusion. So let's say 5
they don't
people
start
out,
because
that's 5.
Because the third 2 people start in the ring, don't they? So how do you pick who's 1 and who's 2?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So
just make them 5 and 6.
Nah.
Yeah, but even still, how do you pick which?
So it'll be in the order
of their entrances. But that's
because it'll be the order they come out. So they.
Yeah, it's easier to.
I guess
they're 1 and 2.
Yeah,
we know what we're doing, Rob. All right.
Right. Yeah.
All right, do it that way then.
He just wants that champion's advantage, isn't it?
What's going on?
Right, let's see. For that, I bet this is number 4 now. You watch. What number is it? I can't even see. Number 3, Lucas.
All right, Lucas. Who's winning the US title or retaining, perhaps, that chamber?
Feels weird it being for the US title. I guess that's I guess they have to elevate that belt because obviously the other one doesn't really exist. So it's not going to be Johnny Gargano. It's not going to be Bronson Reed. It's not going to be Montez Ford. So it's between the other 3. I think that Judgment Day, it would be weird for Damian Priest to win the US title. Like, it'd be really weird. Like, when they've obviously got the mixed tag stuff going on with Edge and Beth. Obviously, there's probably a more interesting kind of call if they were to win the tag belts, let's say, I think. Dominic obviously has a lot of heat on him. And to be fair, I'd feel more strongly about a Judgment Day win if it was Dominic in the chamber, because I think that would be a ultimate kind of heel move to do. But in saying that, you've got like a big villain in Austin Theory in there. So then I would now eliminate Damian Priest. So it's now between Rollins and, for me anyway, between Rollins and Theory. And I just feel that they won't do a title change. So therefore, I would say the winner is going to be Austin Theory. Do I want to say that?
Feels like you already have, mate.
So your theory is Austin's going to retain.
Does he, or does Rollins win? I will go Because wait, is this the only championship match apart from the Roman one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other chamber is to determine who faces Bianca.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is really awkward. Because actually, saying that then, because I'm thinking about my other prediction for this night. I mean, Brock's Brock. He's kind of not face or heel, I guess. He's kind of more face, I guess. But I'm saying a villain winning it then, and I'm gonna, don't want to spoil, but kind of saying villain for everything else. So maybe a face has to win this. No, let's go with Austin Theory. Final one.
Austin Theory. So should we do your number now for the? Let's have
go on, let's do it.
What number you're gonna get? And your lucky number is number 3. So
hey, not bad.
You have the first person to come out of a pod will be
I think
your
that's
person.
the worst number to have.
Do you think? Okay.
Right.
I
So
think
we throw round.
like rumbles where they kind of made it easier to win whether you're first or last for some reason. I don't know why.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's, the middle people are just there to. With the third person out, she's like number 3 in a rumble. Whether she's the first person out, do you know what I
That
mean?
filler, aren't they?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and obviously, as you've picked Austin Theory, we'll throw round now to our current reigning defending champion, the masked wonder himself, El Robio.
I do love when you say that. It really fills me with joy. It's nice to hear. Do you know what I've got on my notes. I know exactly who it is, and I've put a question in there to ask to you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
If obviously, because at one point I may have not been on the stream. So I'll give you who I think, and then I'll give you my quote on question with it as well.
Okay.
So Theory's winning, is retaining. But do you think with Theory walking out and retaining, this is the build up to us getting John Cena versus Theory at WrestleMania? Because if so,
100%.
it needs to be for the title.
So
and I think Theory winning the title, Theory retaining against Cena, is that push, because then that elevates the title as well.
Yeah. See,
nice.
So the rumors that they did have initially was obviously because they've only got Roman, I guess, for one night, for one match, is they would do Cena and Theory night 1, potentially have Cena win at Mania, and then a debut in Jay White come in night 2 and win the US title off Cena.
Nah, that sounds like the most ridiculous E-Fed fantasy booking I've ever heard. It doesn't fit at all.
There's something back in like the old TXWF days, isn't it?
Yeah,
little behind the scenes, me and Dan used to run an E-Fed together, but yeah.
That's literally like back in the days when in like mid 2000s when people were thinking AJ Styles was going to debut and face and beat Undertaker with some.
It could happen, but it doesn't make sense in my head at the moment.
Yeah.
I think the worry is, let's say Jay White, he came out, right? Which I would pop for big time. But we've got to look at it as, okay, we would, but we know where he's been. If you've got people that are just diehard WWE fans, they ain't gonna have a clue who he is.
I think it's
someone like
AJ
AJ
Styles
Styles
with that. But I don't see a world where Cena wins the title and then goes, you know what, I'm going to defend it tomorrow. Unless they really play up this whole kind of honor as being champion, which I think they are going to do with that feud if it does happen. So I guess you could do it that way, don't get me wrong, but it still feels like wild fantasy booking to me. Like jumping through a lot of random hoops and square pegs, round holes and all that stuff to kind of make it fit.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, so let's give you... Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I can see that, but I even then, if we do get Theory Cena, unless the build-up really makes me change my mind, I can't even see Cena winning that either. I just think to push someone that much means they have to go through these barriers. I mean, they gave the title to Seth. They took it from Theory, gave it to Seth, and then went back to Theory again. So clearly, they've got something there. And, I mean, I don't mind Seth having any title, but when you take it back off the guy that everyone loves and then everyone loves to hate,
it feels like they maybe feel like they made a mistake and they put back on him and they didn't think so, because this goes against the idea of it's all about the title and Cena, because they took it off him. But then obviously they could have realized it's probably better, because it would have been so much better if he had had it all that time. We'd have a long reign to be talking about as well. But then again, do long reigns mean anything when you've got Roman's one on the same roster? So maybe not. But Dan, what are you thinking, mate? You going with Theory as well, or are we shaking it up?
I'm gonna do Rob's number first.
Oh, go. Took it shaking Rob, it up. Pick up the
you
dice.
are number 6.
Oh,
so you go. So yeah,
last one out of the pod.
So if you're going on your own theory, then you're going to be the second man in the chamber. Yeah, you want that, or do you? So for me, I think I honestly think this is more cut and dry. I think Theory's going over relatively clean. I think pretty. Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, it might even be a case of, Bronson Reed will go in, take out most of the field.
Look strong,
look strong, and then be something.
We had no reaction the other day, did he?
No, then someone like low blows him, But yeah, I definitely think Theory's gonna Theory will emerge as champion from this still. So yeah, let me just do my number, which is number 3, same as Lucas. So be 6 now. Oh, number 2. Numero 2.
Cool.
So, are you going to make it a full house?
It's Austin Theory. I think it doesn't make sense for anyone else to win it. It's a great. I love the US title being in it because it's a nice little balance between that stepping stone to the main event feel to the match. Seth, you could argue, fits that criteria already, so he could do it. But I think it's all about the John Cena feud, surely. A feud that doesn't need the title. When you have this legend come back to put the new guy over, but at the same time, it also makes sense in the storyline they could tell. We've seen his rich history with the US title as well. So for me, Austin Theory is winning, which I might not have said a few weeks ago, but it just feels right at the moment. Hey, there you go, a little later phrase for you there as well, but it feels right. So I'm going Austin Theory, and I do think we're going towards a John Cena feud.
Cool. And let's see what number you get here. It is. Oh no, that's 3 again.
No,
loaded dice, man. There we go, number 5.
Number 5.
Cool. So no one's got 1 or 4. So
okay,
number 5. Remember, guys, these numbers are for both chamber matches, so it'll be the same for the women's as well. Okay, and talking of women, let's have a match with some women in, which is Edge and Beth Phoenix, Team Grit, taking on Team Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. So let's see who is going first. Make sure I change the dice over. Only 4 of us on here. Pointless having a 6-sider. We have number 2, Scott. Over to you.
Oh crap! This is one I haven't really thought about, but I think the Grit couple, no matter what they do at WrestleMania, could look strong whether it's together or separate, so they don't need to win. Judgment Day, however, have looked very strong for a long time, and Edge kind of needs his kind of payback, so to speak. So that it kind of brings up a dilemma there, because I think Judgment Day have looked so strong for so long, and although Edge doesn't usually need it, I think they probably will swing towards the Grit couple just to kind of. But then again, Rhea losing on the way to WrestleMania is not great either, but she could not take the pin. It could be Finn. Yep, Finn's taking the pin, I think. I'm not disappointed that, but that's how do we get out of this little potential hiccup with Rhea not looking strong. So for me, weirdly enough, I'm going to go with the Grit couple. Little kind of side point. Love how Judgment Day has been presented lately, but there we go.
So Grit couple with Pin Balor taking the pin.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got. I think it's one of those. It's gone on for so long, this feud. Obviously, it's part time, I guess, and obviously they've had to wait for Beth to come back in order to do this. I can't remember. Did Edge and Beth beat Miz and Maurice last year at Rumble? Did that happen?
I don't remember the winner.
No idea.
Couldn't tell you. I mean, I know Cena and Nikki went against them.
It was a good. I remember the feud, but I don't remember who wins it.
Yeah, it's weird that, isn't it? I remember the feud of the promos. And stuff,
and liking it as well. So yeah.
I don't remember. I think Edge and Beth did win. I think it was. Okay. Yeah.
Probably don't need. Then again,
Edge and Beth did win. Yeah.
Getting kicked out your own stable to wrap up the feud, you should probably defeat that stable at some point. Is the kind of thinking I'm having as well.
Yeah, and is this maybe how I suppose they get through it? I guess or does obviously this win for Edge mean that he then goes on to face potentially Finn Balor at WrestleMania?
Yeah, to answer your question, it was Edge and Beth that beat Miz.
Yeah, okay, and I see them having like a kind of weird kind of statistic here where they're undefeated as a couple. I think that kind of suits them because it makes sense for like future things to happen. And obviously, all they need, because they don't do mixed tags, kind of obviously a lot, do they? It's a case of, well, if they win longer, they can keep winning for like, 2 or 3 of them. I think that's like enough for it to be at least mentioned on commentary a few times.
The best ever, yeah.
Do like the mixed match, bring mixed match challenge back, innit?
It suits them as a couple to do that, I guess, because they're two people who kind of are in the same boat with their wrestling careers at the moment, I guess, where they're, part time and, potentially looking at a final date of when they're going to finish. So I think, and they both still got a lot to give, though. I said this about Lita, like when she came back a few weeks back, and I get that obviously there's injuries to Dakota Kai and stuff, but I'm like, if she can wrestle, just have her wrestle. Like I don't know, just put a contract in front of her, just because it felt really odd, like when she did the Women's Rumble like a few years ago, and then she went off to wrestle in Mexico, I think it was, and it's just like, but she just did your Rumble, like. And now she's going to be doing like Mexican dates and wrestling elsewhere. And then I think in between that she might have gone to Impact or wherever she went. In between, just someone sit her down and say, "Look, love, here's a contract. You don't have to be like every week, but you're pretty good at doing this wrestling malarkey. Why don't you just keep at it? Because I mean, it just makes it like she comes back as I thought a fantastic match against Becky Lynch, obviously last year. And I just thought. Surely, even after that, just go to her. Look, maybe 6 dates a year, 6 matches a year. Just come back, do a couple of the special Raw episodes. SummerSlam, the Survivor Series, potentially the Rumble and stuff like that. Because you're pretty good at it. just and you've got that kind of overness and that kind of appeal that obviously we can't get with a lot of the newer women because people don't have that same connection. But I just feel the same with like Beth as well. Like just offer her, a deal where she can do more of this because she's pretty good at it,
Same with Michelle McCall as well.
Yeah, it just seems a bit baffling that you got all these women who, some of them
do it for the men, don't they? Brock comes back every now and then, Goldberg comes back every now and then. So you'd imagine
the women are younger as well. Forget about that. These women doing this stuff the first time round when they were barely teenagers. Look at someone like Kelly Kelly, for example. I know she's
not barely teenagers, barely beyond their teenage years. You mean they weren't 9? They weren't 11 or 12, mate, or 13.
12-year-old Kelly Kelly.
Yeah, the other side of it, they were barely adults. I guess I don't know.
I've been a very extreme exercise, I guess, but you just
gosh.
Yeah, always feel that they're barely. I don't know how old Lisa is, but she can barely be like her 40s. Like, just give her some chance to do her stuff again. But yeah, I think Edge and Beth to win.
Yeah, Lita is 47, I think.
Okay.
Wow,
good for 47.
Yeah.
See, I think the complete opposite again of you guys. I think which is great about these predictions. Look, they kicked Edge out of the stable for booking wise. Oh, the plans are right in or whatever they done. Yeah. Edge clearly didn't fit the Judgment Day. Then we had this awful Judgment Day run by Finn Balor, and nothing happened. We get Dom added to the stable, and now all of a sudden they are probably one of the biggest heaters right now in wrestling, right? So
all thanks to Dom.
All thanks to Dom.
Ex-con Dom.
To be fair, it was picking up just before Dom joined, but
But he has added something special to them.
Yeah, it's been great.
It has been. So I just don't understand the idea of the Judgment Day then taking a loss and it affecting them. I think if anyone can take a loss and bounce back from that a lot quicker, it's 2 Hall of Famers. So, and in my opinion, they don't need to be in a feud like this to be relevant. I mean, the Judgment Day looked absolutely ridiculous running away from them at the Royal Rumble. So why is it every time you put the Judgment Day against anyone else, they look solid? You put them in front of Edge, and all of a sudden they're squirming like they're cowards. I just don't get it. The Judgment Day are great,
and they're heels.
I don't really care.
Yeah,
I don't really. I mean, without being controversial, if someone says the wrestling ability of Rhea Ripley or Beth Phoenix, which one's better? I mean, we had the same conversation about Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. Like, some people are just better in the ring than others. And I think Rhea Ripley is fantastic. And I think she's probably one of the best women in the wrestling industry right now. Of what she's doing, you know. And it's because you're going against a Hall of Famer and a legend, that means that you don't get to do your stuff.
Yeah, but that's why I think Balor takes the pin, and I think it's about wrapping up the feud of the babyface who got kicked out of the. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was going heel in that time, and then he only.
It was, but it's not anymore. But
the best way to wrap it up, in my opinion, would be Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor double pin Beth and Edge in the middle of the ring, and that's how you end this stupid feud. So I'm going to Judgment Day.
Strong words.
Ridiculous. Bro, it's been going on for so long. Edge has turned face. He went face to heel, but he turned more times than bloody Big Show.
I'm more interested in the Judgment Day than I am in this feud.
Exactly.
I do think there's benefit in wrapping it up.
Get it out of it. I would rather put the Judgment Day over and make them something while they're still young enough in the business, than put over 2 Hall of Famers that appear 6 times a year. I'm sorry, but I'm not buying it. So Judgment Day. If they don't win, I riot.
Up to you, Dan.
Right. Now
follow
why don't you tell us how you really feel, Rob? Yeah, so for me, I think that I think it's going to be Edge and Beth that are going to win this. I have a sneaky suspicion that Dominic is going to accidentally cost them the match. Like he'll go to grab Edge's leg or something like that, and then like Beth will hit like the glam slam on Balor or something like that, and you know it's like Dom thinks he's doing the right thing but accidentally costs him, kind of thing. And obviously then Rhea will get annoyed with him, because I honestly think the way that they're going for Mania, I think they're going to go with Dominic and Ray at Mania. That's the direction I think they're going to go with. So do they do that with Dom still as part of the Judgment Day, or will they have Judgment Day disband by the time that comes around?
I hope not.
You know, I mean, although it's good, I feel as though that could well happen, and this could be them planting the seeds of that right here.
I think they should do like what they did with was it Orton and Punk, when they did the whole like, obviously when Punk was leader of the Nexus, and then they had Orton like win matches so that he could get the Nexus members bound to ringside of his Mania match. I think that might be a smart way of doing it. Well, obviously you have Ray able to, you know, win a match or win an opportunity, so that obviously the other Judgment Day members are bound from ringside for the match, and so you still have the match to keep the stable together. But it's a case of really, if Ray wins, which he should, because you know he's been through a lot in this feud, isn't it? Ray wins, so it's a case of, well, especially after this loss, have they even won on pay-per-view Judgment Day? Not for ages now, I think.
I'm pretty sure they will.
They done the thing with Edge.
I don't know if they went at Judgment Day. They did the pay-per-view.
Well, maybe not. I've got a lot I want to say about Ray versus Dominic, actually. I've got a lot of opinions on that, but of course I'll hold that off until a potential WrestleMania build-up with them actually on. But I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be nice still to the end of the feud, and we'll see where we go from there. But should we move on to the next chamber?
Yeah, so we are going to try and blast through these last two guys, because I know we have a couple of time constraints here, but we do have the women's Elimination Chamber match. The winner will go on, I think they say, to WrestleMania to challenge Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship, where we have Carmella, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Liv Morgan, and Natalya. So, strangely, 3 Raw and 3 SmackDown women to challenge the Raw Women's Champion. Okay, you do you, WWE. But anyway, let's see who the first person is. This time it is number 4. Rob, you are up.
So I put in a message. My heart wants to say Liv. Because I just want to see her have that title again. But I just can't see it. And then I was looking at the thing, and in my notes, I was like, they've just basically rebranded this new look of Asuka. They're trying to make her look more dominant, which I'm all for. Scott, me and you used to work about how great it was at Rumble. We spoke about the idea of that her being Kana, or that style of her in the build up to Rumble when we had all the other guys on for the build up show, which was great. But after Rumble, seeing Raquel and the way she performed, it just, oh man, so I can't pick between those two. Like, I really can't. But I think it's not a last hope for Asuka, but I feel this is that time for them to really push her for this moment. Someone like Raquel could come later down the line. You know, she could win next year's Rumble. Like, she's that good. And we said the women's Rumble, in my opinion, like this year's women's Rumble was far better than the men's, and all of them delivered in the women's. It was fantastic. Nothing but praise for all of them. You know, and it's a shame that we don't get to see him perform like that a lot more often. I complained about that a lot as well. But yeah, I reckon Asuka's gonna win it. I think it'll be a solid performance. But are we doing most eliminations, or are we?
Nah, we'll sort it out. Maybe if we do extra things like that, we'll use it for the build-up show.
Yeah.
But
okay. Well, I was going to say if we done that way, I think Asuka's getting the win, but the person that's going to look strongest coming out of this is Raquel. So you know, again, it might not be the win that she wants, but it's a win that will really, really push her. So I'm going Asuka, but I can't wait I think this could be match of the night, in my opinion.
And yeah, the build-up show obviously will be on Saturday before the Elimination Chamber. Have we got a set time for that yet, or is that to be confirmed?
We do. It's down at the bottom there. Term Jeep Eastern.
Nope.
Yeah, if you look at the ticket going along the bottom, there we go. If you didn't quite catch that, yeah, the build-up show will be on Saturday from 10 p.m. in the UK, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern time for our friends across the pond. So who do I think is going to get the chance to go on to face Bianca Belair for that Raw Women's Championship? Well, I don't think that anyone in that chamber is ready for Asuka. I think it's going to be a very, very convincing win for Asuka. I definitely think the Royal Rumble was quite a telltale thing, actually, with obviously the final three being Rhea, Liv, and Asuka. And I think it shows Triple H has that faith in Asuka again that seemed like it was kind of diminishing somewhat under Vince. Because let's not forget, when she actually had the championship initially, it was because she'd won Money in the Bank, and it was only because Becky had gone off pregnant that she actually had that title in the first place. So you know, I don't recall her actually ever properly I think
it was a Heyman decision as well, wasn't it, for her to actually?
Yeah. But I definitely think Asuka's going to come out of this. I think Raquel will obviously look very strong. I could definitely see it being come down to Asuka and Liv as the final two, though, for this one. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up going down like the triple threat route at Mania, but yeah, definitely think Asuka for the victory for this one.
Okay, well, looking at the field here, I'm very much looking forward to the match, as Rob said earlier. Great stuff we saw at the Rumble, but I'm not looking forward to the story. For me, there's just not much of a story to tell naturally at the moment. But saying that, I think the two easiest ones to do is Asuka, because of her character kind of being reborn at the moment, or Raquel, because she's the kind of maybe seen as the one being groomed for the next level. So I think it's easy to go for the one for the next level, because in recent years we keep predicting things like that about the future and the future and the future. But sometimes it's about right now. It's about cementing a character at the moment. And while Asuka may not be too much of the future anymore, I think right now you'd be silly not to take advantage of this return and this newfound excitement about her as well. So I think it'd be a great way to rectify some of the issues they've had with previous runs of Asuka by Asuka winning. I mean, it's not an obvious story to tell, Bianca versus Asuka, but none of them are. So for me, Asuka should win, and I think probably will win and go on to face Bianca at WrestleMania.
Cool. So over to you, Lucas. You making it a full house, or have you got somebody out left field? Are you going to say it's going to be like Queen Charmel or something?
No. Like, when the minute I knew this was the direction they were going in, I think Asuka was one of the first names that qualified or got announced. I can't remember which way they did it this year. I was like, yeah, it's got to be Asuka, surely. And even looking at the field, I think there's just everyone else is not at the right place where they want to go. I kind of disagree with there's not the natural story. I think there is. I think the only problem I guess we have with obviously Asuka, like obviously she's more a in-ring performer than the promo person. So we're not going to be seeing these like we are with Charlotte and Rhea, particularly these kind of, hard-hitting kind of promos that both of the ladies I think can do very well. I'll be up for seeing another multi-person match at Mania potentially. I guess that they'll probably do it for the tag titles though, for the women, I guess. But yeah, I'll pretty much for sure. You kind of covered everything I need to cover, so I'm gonna say Asuka.
You're going with Asuka as well.
Oh, Asuka, yeah.
Proper is a full house, yeah. Both I was gonna say Rumble matches, both chamber matches. We've all gone for the same, the same people there. So
the only way to move in this then is our random, given number as well. So that's
watch it be. Yeah, watch it be like 1 or 4 though now, like a number that none of us have got. All right, so let's get in now to the final match, what we feel may well be the main event of the show. The match that everyone is talking about, the hometown boy, Sami Zayn, taking on the head of the table, the tribal chief, the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world, Roman Reigns. I think I got that right.
Somewhere along the lines, yeah.
He's got a couple of belts anyway, so yeah. Right. Who is going first on this one? It is number 4. That dice is nicely loaded for you, Rob.
It is.
On you go.
I think as beautiful as this 9-month build has been, the whole thing with Sami, Bloodline, up to War Games, to the Rumble, the piece of art that we've got to see that they put on display at the end of Rumble, all the way up to the promo with Cody. I'm sorry, but Roman's still retaining. It doesn't make sense. Why now is the time to put I would say, and I love Cody, absolutely love Cody, and obviously I love Sami. Obviously before then, rumors that he was Generico, and great, he was great. But I just think Sami Zayn is such an ultimate underdog. I would say maybe even a bigger underdog than Daniel Bryan at times. Like he really gets he just gets the crowd in the palm of your hands when he's playing that bit, the ultimate babyface. And I think the bigger thing right now is they put themselves into this position where you've got Cody Rhodes and then you've also got Sami Zayn in this great position. And I think to be the one to dethrone, if Sami is the one to dethrone Roman now, Elimination Chamber, going into this, Cody then has to switch to the heel. And they don't want that because he's the big baby face. And you can't have, as much as I don't mind seeing a babyface versus babyface, I don't think he's got that dynamic that you need. Because at the end of Mania, if it's the final match of the entire show, you want the crowd on their feet.
Yeah, the fans would turn him heel as well.
Yeah,
fans wouldn't accept it.
So I literally think the only thing that you can do, and as much as I would love to see Sami be the champion at some point, I don't think it's now. But he's proved that he can put himself in a position to be the ultimate babyface, which not everyone can do. I mean, fans turned on Seth when Seth was at the height of, being the Beast Slayer and stuff like that. So mad props to Sami, but I just don't see it, man. As much as I want to see it, I think he's peaked too early. Now is not the time for Sami Zayn to beat Roman Reigns. So Roman's retaining, but I think maybe we see a Kevin Owens appearance, something like that. There's got to be something because the Usos can't get into Canada, right? Due to
apparently they're allowed.
They can. Okay.
I thought that. Yeah, I didn't even think that could be why they're going with that storyline side of it. But okay, but that's probably just to throw people off more than if they actually can. So
maybe. I mean, I just see for state and rules and laws and all this sort of stuff, and I think in one place the DUI is one thing, and then in another country it's a lot far worse. Which I don't know rules and regulations. Other places I just know the UK. But yeah, from what I read last time, I think they'd done like a one-time thing for, was it Jimmy or Jay, just to go to Canada. And then they had to come straight back. Yeah, they had to come straight back after though, didn't they? He had a 24-hour allowance.
Okay.
But if the Usos can be there, then I think what would be great is having Jay be the one to then turn completely on Sami, because they're the ones that have got that. So if the Usos can be there, I can see this solidifying the bloodline. Jay being the one to turn on Sami, acknowledging Roman still, and then that's that story kind of complete for Sami and Roman. And then I guess we get the build up for Mania with maybe Owens and Zayn versus the Usos for the titles. So if we can get that, that would be great. But Roman's retaining.
Apparently, it's been confirmed that they have permission
right
to enter Canada.
Cool.
The Canadians,
but yeah, regardless of
being in their country,
regardless if they can go, can't go, or whatever, I still think Roman is retaining.
Okay.
Right. So I've got a dilemma.
Uh-oh.
So Roman Reigns leaves the Elimination Chamber as undisputed champion, 100% locking that in. Right. What I'm thinking is, do I lock in a bonus point for Sami Zayn, or WWE do something like the Dusty finish? So Sami Zayn gets the visual pin on Roman. Visual pin as in 1, 2, 3, bell rings, confetti's gone off. Literally, you watch the replay back, it's 1, 2, and then Roman's got like a finger on the rope.
Okay, to at least get that moment in some way.
Or his foot is like under the rope or something like that. So literally everything's gone off. You know, he's won the title, blah, blah, blah. Everyone thinks like this is a big deal. Like they've got the confetti, the thing flashes up on the screen, all that. And then literally it's a case of, actually, Roman's foot was under the rope. It could be like that Solo comes in, hits him with like the Samoan spike or whatever, because then technically that, if they're going to restart the match or whatever, he hits him with that and then basically drags Roman over him for the pin, essentially. So I'm at a dilemma as to whether to lock that in, because that's a thing that I've been thinking that they might do for a while.
I think you bonus point it, because you're going to kick yourself if you don't.
But
hey, Scott.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if you bonus point.
I mean, let me have a quick look. So if we go with the
hey, what have you got to lose, man?
I've got a point to lose, and like Rob could come within like a couple.
Look at Scott at the bottom
of me. I know,
Shut
right?
up, man.
I mean, mind you, his football team have used to be in 4th place, isn't it? Over the years, but mine weren't even on that graphic. Mine have been like 10th. Lucas's weren't even in the same division. And Rob don't even like football. So
with the club he supports.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, same colour. Let me just you're at, isn't it, Scott?
It is, yeah.
Really old red current, yeah.
I've got a flag behind me, but I'll keep that in.
Yeah, please do.
And subscribe to the Rebellious Noise football channel, by the way. But anyway, let's get back to pro wrestling.
Right, and by the way, that's soccer for you American fans.
Oh well,
proper football. But I
say bonus point it.
Part of me wants to. Part of me wants to.
I'll be a chicken.
But then I'm thinking it's coming up to Mania. I've had to hear for 2 years about you two wanging on about being like, look at my trophy. I won this one 2 years ago. Oh, look at this one. I currently hold this one.
Talking about this.
That one.
I mean, if you bonus point,
you've got a mug. You've got a mug. What's your problem?
I know. I'm doing a stream with 3 of them.
Oi.
Bonus point it. What's the worst that can happen is you don't get any points.
Right. So,
and if it happens, then you get, you're laughing.
So if I lock Roman into win, that's. Can I do the bonus point as a separate prediction?
Yeah, because if Roman wins, but the craziness doesn't happen, like Rob said, you'll go back down to 0. So like you get 1 for Roman, because you'd still technically be right, but your bonus point would be there was, Sami thinks he's won, and they reverse it and it restarts the match. That's your bonus point. So you could still basically, like Rob said, go back to 0. It's somewhat a safe bet, because I think, like you, I think we all kind of agree Roman's most likely to win either way. So it's kind of safe in that sense.
I'm locking it in then. I'm going to lock in Sami Zayn will at some point get the one.
Appear to be the champion.
Yeah. Sami Zayn will at some point during the match pose with the championships and be declared the winner.
Okay.
But it'll be Roman Reigns will end up leaving as the champion.
That's an interesting way to use your bonus point. Like I say, it's still quite a safe one in some sense because you're not going to go too far back unless Sami just straight out wins, and that'd be crazy. But yeah, moving on to me, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Roman wins, and I do think it is because of Jey Uso. I'm not going to bonus point that because
30-second match or something. Just goes in Superman punch 1, 2.
Yeah, no, look. I'll go into this more in the build-up, and just like we did when we had our Rumble build-up, we're going to have a lot of guests in, and we're going to really dive into this. I don't want to do this match a disservice by kind of just brushing past it, because I do think there is still a possibility of the Sami thing, and I would love it in some regards, but I do think the Cody story is going on. There's some fortunate timing. We've had a bit of back and forth, me and Andy Spores, who came on the build-up show for Rumble. And hopefully we'll get him back for the Chamber one about, how this could have been maybe done at SummerSlam instead. But it's kind of peaked early. It's always a difficult thing with timing. So for me, ultimately, I think Roman Reigns is going to win this match. It's going to be the champ. I do think Jey is going to cost him, and it's going to cause major heat. The side of Sami winning almost, it's kind of like that Jericho pop in 2000. I do think they could do that, but it would create a very, very risky situation where all this heat, yes, could go towards the bloodline and everyone being annoyed at the bloodline and the WWE, in my opinion, but there is still that risk. And I think they would then play it with Cody's going to avenge Sami, but I think it's still too risky. I think people might go against Cody by proxy at being annoyed at what WWE have done there. So for me, I don't think that shenanigan will happen. Roman Reigns is going to win. I do think JOC is going to get involved, but I'm not going to bonus point it.
And Lucas reckons that Booker T's going to leave as champion. Back in the day when you used to do like really random out there predictions as well.
Some of them are right though. Some of them are right.
You said Lita was going to win last year's Rumble, by the way. Which
I mean, you said Papa Shango at one point.
That was this year's Rumble.
Wait, did you just say Linda McMahon's going to win this one?
Papa Shango, man. But let's not forget, Otis won Money in the Bank, man. Otis won Money in the Bank.
That's true. Don't remind me. Hey, I want to see him join Maximum Male Models, by the way. That was a great little tease recently. I want to see that happen.
Otis.
Yeah, Otis.
Right.
Anyway.
Body of a god, that fella.
American Alpha all the way, man. Alpha Academy, sorry, not.
American Alpha would be nice as well. But yeah, go on, Lucas. What we saying here?
Obviously, I'm hoping that I'll be able to join you for the build-up show, because this match needs a lot more dissection, and I think we can obviously give it in the time frame we've got. Obviously, football fans and Corey fans here, so there's a little time window.
I'm trying to get the Arsenal game on, and you're trying to see what happens with Ken Barlow. But
see if Roy Cropper's still on the fiddle with his prices, mate.
It's why I'm out of this match, because I'm at the, this is obviously such an interesting one to do before Mania. Such an interesting one to do, because obviously, I'm with Scott. I'm thinking that it's just the wrong time, like for it to be done. Like it should have been done like post Mania, but I guess obviously they're thinking it wouldn't be with the belts. Wait, why is Roman only holding one belt up on that picture?
Oh,
nice.
It's slightly hidden behind the graphic, but that's my argument as well as to why they won't do it at SummerSlam, because I think it's about that jeopardy that Sami could do it. I think if it was a SummerSlam, Sami probably beat him, but it's all about that jeopardy that Sami might do it. It's so risky, but I think that's what they want. They want the best.
It's just it's the most awkward place on the calendar as well to put this, because it's like you've got I think if they're doing it where they have the Rumble winner faces the champion at Mania, they shouldn't have a pay-per-view in between, because then obviously that you kind of know it's going to be Roman.
Need to though, isn't it? But I think Roman's going to lose at Mania. I think it's all about that. So I think this is it for me. Roman's SummerSlam wouldn't be the same. So,
but do you think like this could even be like a draw or something, and then they say, okay, so Sami can get like his rematch on night 1, and then Cody gets the winner on night 2?
I think that muddies the water even more. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, if the minute that happens, the attention then goes away from Cody.
Yeah,
because people are going to be rallying.
For me, this is about wrapping up Cody. Yeah, wrapping up Sami to move on to Cody, and be very careful with it. But
you have to do it that way and put the heat on Jimmy and Jey, if that's the way you're going to do it against Sami. So Sami's still involved in what's going on.
Probably.
And then the tag match.
Sami and KO.
I think.
Sorry, Lucas, go on.
We think about this quite a lot when we say sometimes everyone thinks that the reward in WWE is getting the title, getting the big win, but I think sometimes the reward is the match. Like someone like Sami Zayn, who obviously has been part of the company now for a number of years and has been kind of up and down that card, you know, as and when he was needed. And there were times where he was basically an afterthought, he was forgotten about. He had long injuries at one point, but they finally built this up where he's got the opportunity now to compete in what is most likely, like we say, going to be the main event. Yes, it's not WrestleMania or SummerSlam or one of the big Saudi events, whatever, but it's still like a massive event.
Oh, we lost Lucas. We lost you there for a second, mate, but it's a massive event, you said. We heard that much.
Yeah, massive event in front of his hometown crowd. Now, obviously, the hometown thing, WWE have kind of not cared about for quite some time now. So that doesn't really affect my opinion on this. I do think that I'm going to get out of the way. I think Roman Reigns is going to retain the championships. However, I think that they're not done with the Jey Uso thing. And by the Jey Uso thing, I think Jey versus Roman. I think it's not done yet. I think. Jey.
That's SummerSlam.
I mean, it's coming. It's coming. I don't know whether they're gonna. I think we're now in that kind of those final moments where it's a case of if there's deals to be made, if there's anything that can be done, like now is when they're going to start doing them. And as much as I'm not really for this 2-night thing for Roman, I think that they might see it as inevitable if obviously they haven't got other stuff that they feel is strong enough to go in that spot. Because realistically, this is going to happen every year at WrestleMania now, where obviously you're going to have to make sure both nights are stacked the same, you know. And I think they might start looking at that and going, okay, well, we've got Brock, but he's not in a title match. You know, does that lessen him as an attraction potentially? You know, we've got Rollins, but again, not in a title match, you know. And I think they might know to get that out of their heads. And I think, you know, if they do go forward with a Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns storyline going into WrestleMania, I feel that could be some of the best storytelling they could ever tell. Because that match came out of nowhere during lockdown for us, didn't it? When we were first kind of starting this pod, and it was an incredible story they told 3 years ago, and look what's happened. But it's one of those where I'm like, I do think Jey Uso is the integral part to this contest. I think the other stuff is just kind of the usual. But I think Jey Uso, obviously, as we're saying, it's a case of, is he going to be teaming with his brother to be fighting KO and Sami? Or is he going to be maybe looking to face against the Tribal Chief further down the line? But yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment.
Another spanner in the works, mate. Yeah, I think it's all timing, man. I think that's great as well, but I would go Jey Uso at SummerSlam then, because I'd love to see that as well. But I think to really ramp up the Sami thing, this is the best way to do it. But yeah, great.
I think
idea.
I really think. I mean, whatever happens, if Jey is the one that causes Sami, then you know when you get that nuclear wrestling hate, that heat there,
massive, massive
go away heat.
At least benefit from that, because it's a sticky situation. But if we can at least get that out of it, it'd be fantastic.
So whoever basically whatever happens, whoever stiffs Sami into losing that title, that heat is nuclear. Like,
it'll be a big reaction and emotion either way. It just needs to be funneled into the right direction. That's where the risk is.
Unless it's accidental, like, you know, Kevin Owens comes in or something to try and help.
I don't think they'll do it with Owens because of where they are.
I think Jey will, and I think Jey will ruin it, and Owens will come for the save, but to get the big pop to end the night, somewhat send them home happy. But
they're not going home happy.
I think they will in that sense. I think, you know, it'll be like Tyson Fury singing in Cardiff. But anyway, I think that pretty much does us all, right? We've all gone for Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Pretty boring. Like, we've all gone.
Well, you know,
the same for a lot of it.
But it's the PLE before Mania. You know,
it's always tough, isn't it?
Yeah,
and remember, Mania's always double bubble. So
true. That'll be exciting when it gets here. But of course, before that, we will be back here for the live build-up show. If you haven't been on one of those before, Basically, it's where we get yourself and ourselves hyped up for the big event. Of course, we'll be going live on Saturday, 10 p.m. UK time, and you'll see down below what that means for you wherever you are in the States. And if it isn't included, Google it. I'm sure you can figure it out. 10 p.m. GMT to wherever you are. Gonna be a good one, guys. Gonna have a guest on there once again. Other friends from the wrestling media, so it's really fun. And they're kind of no holds bars, aren't they, guys? We go real kind of rogue on them. They're real fun. And of course, it's on the night of the PLE, so it's a really fun one to do. But yeah, that's my little plug there for the build up. But Dan, I'm gonna hand over to you for the go home.
So yeah, that is everything from us. So thank you all guys so much for watching. Don't forget, as we've said, check out the build-up show. Go back and check out all our other stuff over on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. We've got a number of wrestler interviews there as well, including quite a few of the wrestlers that are on this card as well. So yeah, if you want to get a little bit of a feel for what we do here at Rebellious Noise, then go over, check that out. Check out some of our older stuff as well over on the main Rebellious Noise channel. And don't forget, guys, to like, share, and subscribe to Rebellious Noise. You can find all the information over on the YouTube page as well. It will link you to all of the different channels that we have. So, yeah, that is everything, I guess, from me. So, for now, guys, take care, and we will see you all very, very soon. Take care.
See you later, guys.
For now.
Mashallah.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.